Killer CRO tips using an SEO crawler. So, who am I? My name is Luke Carthy. As you've been told, I am an e-commerce SEO and I'm currently working for a company called Mayflex. Mayflex is a company that basically puts the internet, cabling and security systems into buildings like this. What's really interesting is they are 100 years old, so I have no idea what the hell they were doing before the days of the internet. Not really my problem, but good company to work for nonetheless. I've also done some work for Renault, for Caterpillar, for Chemist Direct, selling drugs and bits and pieces online. So, doubt it, but does anyone here work for Best Buy? Awesome, I'm going in. What I will say, did some research, had a poke around their site, and I found 236,000 indexed internal search URLs. In itself, not a massive problem. However, those 236,000 URLs, approximately or almost 7 million visits every single month. So I got to thinking, and I thought, there's got to be at least a handful of these search terms that possibly don't return any products, right? 0 results found. How do we work this out? How do we find out about this? So, I decided to take a look. And I decided that I wanted some supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. I've practiced this and I've got it right, I'm so happy. Fortunately, they didn't have any in stock. No surprises there. However, what's interesting is we always get a 200 response code for pages like this, right? So as far as servers are concerned, and as far as crawling the site out of the box is concerned, there's no errors here. Everything seems to be okay. But what's quite interesting here is those 0 results internal search pages, of course, don't return 404s. So when you're crawling a site, how do you work out where these low-hanging fruit items are? Deep crawl, sitebulb, screaming frog, out of the box at least, they're not going to detect these errors. So I got to thinking again, but this time started to think a little bit less like Homer Simpson and a little bit more intelligently. And took some search URLs from Best Buy, extracted them from Ahrefs. Does anyone here call it Rfs? Because that's kind of weird. I think it's a little bit wrong. And Systrix, which is one of my favourite tools, and did some custom extraction. Now I crawled just a 4% sample. Unfortunately, the packages at Mayflex that we use, they're a bit under lock and key, so I can't have the big bad boy enterprise package to get everything. So 4%, 236 of the 236,000 URLs. And I found 296 of them that returned no results found. What makes that even more interesting is almost 200,000 people every single month are seeing these pages. Massive faux pas for CRO, right? You've got a lot of people seeing pages that have no products against them. It's a huge bunch of missed CRO opportunities. How do you go around that? How do you make it better? We'll get to that in a little while. Best Buy made a bit of a mistake. Sort of. I mean, let's be honest, 236,000 visits to a site like Best Buy is a drop in the ocean, but remember, I only crawled a 4% sample. Imagine if I crawled all those URLs, you're probably talking in excess of 1 million visits a month. But here's my favourite one, online account. Pretty clear search, no results found. So, you're probably not going to find any products, but here you should be thinking about where you can put these people. But what's interesting here is 15,000 visits every single month for just the search term online account. These are people who want to log in, potentially repurchase, they're your best customers. There's an experience missing here, there's a CRO opportunity missing here. And then I did some more research and found a number of search terms on the Best Buy site where only one item was found. Pretty cliche searches, 57-inch TV. These searches get a lot of traffic. Now again, there's opportunities here where Best Buy, as a company, could look at expanding their product ranges in these areas. If there's a lot of demand for products and you only have one item, why? Is there more demand than you have supply? So how is this all impacting Best Buy? Theoretically, of course. I don't work for Best Buy. As we said, almost 200,000 people aren't finding what they're looking for when they're searching on the Best Buy site. That could be thousands of potential areas where demand is massively outstripping supply. You've got situations where Best Buy have a load of customers who are looking for things and they just can't find them. They're going to go somewhere else. And they're not, of course, providing a seamless experience for non-product related searches. customer phone number, for example, address, store, that sort of thing. They're not selling the lines that customers want to buy. Massive problem. Again, a CRO goldmine, potentially. So how did I start doing some of this cool shit with custom extraction? Get into it, shall we? So first of all, what is custom extraction? Well, when you're crawling a site, what it basically allows you to do is extract any data from the HTML itself, the front end, so the rendered HTML. And there's a thing that's not really powerful, but let's look at some specific examples. So, Best Buy site, product page, a search results page, and you might be able to see right down the bottom if the projector's not in the way. I wanted to extract the number of items that were returned on this page. So, on inspect element, right click on the price, go here, and then you've got 4 options: outer HTML, selector, JS path, and copy XPath. And any of these options will work. But what I decided to use was the CSS Selector. I won't go into the reasons why on this because I haven't really got a lot of time. I've got some really cool stuff to share with you, but I do have some links in here where you can get OFA with a number of things and XPath and so on and so forth. So here, I wanted the item count specifically. That's what I wanted to extract. So every time I crawl a page, I will be returned in my search tool or my crawling tool how many items on that page there were. So what I did is went to the CSS Selector in this case, copy that, throw it straight into Screaming Frog. So configuration, custom, extraction, copy and paste. Nice and simple. Maybe a bit fast. Ask me any questions if you want to after this session and I'll walk you through it in more detail. But what I will say is I've got 2 things here. I've got the item count and I've also got, as you may be able to work out, the no results copy. So whenever the search page returns no results found, I am told about it. I'm either told the number of items or I'm told there's none. And that allows me to then work out what specific search terms or what specific pages are returning no items. Some good additional reads. 4 links here. I don't expect you to be able to write these down pretty quick, but these are really good resources if you want to find out more about custom extraction and how that works. Some really cool sources. And of course, the links will be shared, the slides will be shared and everything else. So what else can you do with custom extraction besides burn Best Buy? What you can do, and a really powerful one for me, is extract your product recommendations. This is one of my favorite things. Now, a statistic, right? 35% of what people buy on Amazon and 75% of what people watch on Netflix, apparently, comes from product recommendations. Awesome, pretty powerful stuff. Keeps people online, helps people convert. It's important. But you can then, with custom extraction, identify at scale exactly what products your customers are buying or relate to other products. So for your entire catalogue, in a spreadsheet, you can very quickly start to work out what do people buy. And with those items that people buy, what is it they're most likely to buy with it, upsell to, cross-sell to, and so on. Now, of course, the first recommendations, as you're probably aware, are most popular and are best selling. So it's the first 2 items you want to pay attention to. But equally, what about the items that don't sell so well? What about the recommendations that might be on the 3rd page, the 3rd carousel? These items here, you might want to look at and find, or try and identify why these items aren't selling. There might be a few surprises in there. This is, for me, the biggest thing. Pay real close attention to the product price on the page and the recommendation price underneath. And the reason why is you may find that people constantly upsell from a cheaper product to something that's more expensive or more comprehensive, a better package. So what you could be in a position of is change your recommendation models, actually sell more expensive items, if that works, and test it through custom extraction. Now, this is where I start to fall in love with custom extraction because it's super powerful when you look at scraping your direct competitors. Because, you know, you may be a small e-commerce player, you may be a major e-commerce player, but imagine being in the world of fashion and being able to scrape ASOS and understand exactly what items ASOS sell and what other items that most people buy with those particular items, at what price, and so on. So you've now got some really powerful intel on your competitors and what they are doing. Even more so when you've got multi-dimensional recommendations. And here's an example for you. So this is a bathroom retailer called Victorian Plumbing, sorry. And as you can see, there's 4 different types of recommendations on this page. You've got your customers also purchased. So this is a product page for a pedestal, a basin. you can see that people typically, as you can see, buy showers with this. So if you're in the bathroom market, you would look at that and identify ways in which you can merchandise your page better. But what really gets powerful is you may also like. And typically these are powered by engagement. These are powered by user journeys. So you can start to understand, again, at scale, what products people go to, people buy, what other products people look at, and brands on a massive competitive scale. Huge amounts of insight across any site. Now, you can also work out your best and worst selling products in a quick way. Because if you scrape every single one of your categories, or let's say your top 1,000 search terms, you can find out your top 3 selling products. Equally, you can find out your worst 3 selling products and identify why. Is it price? Is it stock? Is it availability? All of this information can be lifted via custom extraction. And of course, best selling is often the first in the category. Now, I quite like custom extraction to snoop on other people's shit and see what people are getting up to. So at Mayflex and wherever I work and when I do freelance stuff, this is the first thing I take a look at. Have a look at what everybody else is doing, especially the big players in the field. As I've said, identify, but in this case, your competitors' worst selling products or best selling products and find out why. Do you have those products? Do you have those products at the same price point? And so on. Now, a bit of a cheeky one, and sometimes you may need to slow down your crawl because you might blow up your competitor's site. But what I will say is, find out their search URL path. So for Best Buy, I think it's something similar to this. It's bestbuy.com/search, and then you've got the parameter and then the keyword. Now, put it this way. Let's say you are a part code driven business. You're selling, say, security cameras, as in we do, and we have our top 5,000 selling security cameras. You could literally run a search term, crawl, for every single part code that you sell against your competition. Find out whether they sell it, at what price, whether they have an image, their description, everything. You have intel, you basically have their PIM and ERP database right in front of you. If you don't have a part code driven business and you sell sort of fashion or apparel or unique things, then there's similar things you can run. You can run search terms and see whether, red jeans, for example, is sold there. And if so, what are they? What is their best selling jeans? Again, at what price point? Really powerful stuff. Prices, reviews, stock compared to your own. Is there an item that you are both selling, you and your competition, that they have in stock that you don't, or vice versa? There's an opportunity there. Anyone work here for Home Depot? I'm quite glad no one put their hands up because I'm going in. What I will say is they've made a massive mistake. I'm actually amazed this is still here. I've had to click it a number of times. But Home Depot apparently, or Depot as I think we call it in the UK, they have a Canadian site. Didn't know that. Anyway, it's knackered, it's broken, it doesn't work. How did I find that out? Typical crawl. But I crawled specifically their navigation. I'll explain why I did that in just a second. We get a 403 error. Quick bit of insight. It's falling off the face of the earth. I have no idea what's happened to their Canadian business, but their Twitter's still running, they're not out of business. I don't even know if they realise this is happening. You get this. So if you visit Home Depot Canada, their entire site has disappeared. I'm drifting a little bit here, but it's important, and this is the sort of thing I found just doing random crawls of e-commerce players. But this is why it's so important to scrape your category URLs. Now, you may have a site, for example, where the configuration of that site is driven so that if your categories are empty, you do not get 404 pages. It does happen. I have seen it so many times. So you may be in a situation, like Home Depot are, we've got a category like this, no products, no products, no products. And just to bring it back to a UK level, I'm not from America, by the way, just like slagging off American websites. Argos. I couldn't find any dead categories, unfortunately. I really wanted one of those, so I like to go in on Argos quite a lot because they do a lot of things wrong. But what I will say is they have categories that are really thin, where you've just got one product. And there's no point having this. This could probably be in another category, a parent category, probably in the category above it. But you can start to understand your entire site and see which categories, say, have less than 2 products in, or 2 or 3, or however many your threshold is. Argos have got loads of these, but I've been in trouble before for talking about Argos, so I'm going to quickly move on. Finally, I want to talk about how you can make custom extraction really sexy. I think it's sexy, you might just think I'm weird, but what I will say is you can do this, and it is really powerful. So, everyone here, deep crawl. You know what deep crawl is, right? It's early. All right, fair enough. So, with deep crawl, what you can do is connect your Google Analytics data. Not really a massive deal. A lot of tools can do this. But more importantly, your log files, your Search Console data, your backlink information, your page speed insights, and your XML sitemaps in a single crawl on top of custom extraction. So when you're going through your own site, you can identify first the problem areas, whether you've got dead categories or dead search terms. You can find out how often bots are looking at this information, how often they're scraping the site, how much traffic they're getting, how fast the page is loading, how many backlinks you have to it, and whether it's in your sitemap for every single page. That, for me, is the absolute goldmine of data, because it allows you to respond based upon user behavior, SEO opportunity, and so on. Really powerful stuff. What I've also done as well is do a quick chart, which again will be in the slides, and comparing how the search tools or the scraping tools work and their features and so on. And the reason why I choose deep crawl is yes, I quite like it. I do also love Screaming Frog, but deep crawl allows you to connect all those data sets in one crawl really easily. Again, super powerful stuff. And I think, if I'm right, that is me. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Luke. We've probably got time for maybe 2 questions, if anyone's got any.
Sure.
Luke? Any questions? You covered everything so comprehensively.
Either that or everyone's asleep.
Everyone's asleep.
Oh, there's a gentleman here. Here we go.
Yes, sir.
How would you go about crawling a site that's blocked, that blocked all third-party scrapers?
How would you go about crawling a site that's blocked
I
all
don't know,
third-party
mate.
scrapers?
What I will say is Best Buy actually ran me this issue. Now, in Screaming Frog, I don't know whether Deep Crawl can do this, but in Screaming Frog, what you can do is authenticate as a genuine user. So when you go to the configuration tab, I think there's an authentication screen. You can render as a specific user, get the cookie, change the user agent, and scrape the site. But you have to do so in a really slow way, so maybe like a max of, say, 5 URLs a second. But that allows you, for most cases, like, say, Skyscanner, to get over that, you're a bot, piss off, we don't want you here. It's normally how you get away with it.
Cool, you got a thumbs up for that answer. That must have been pretty good. Cool, thank you very much, Luke. Carthy.